Hi, friends, and welcome back to the Rice the Art-Holic Podcast. If we haven't met yet, my name is April Chai, and I'm the professional artist behind Rice the Art-Holic. And this is a space where we talk about creativity, connection, community, and whatever else happens to be on my mind. Before we get into today, I wanted to point out that I dressed a little different today. I actually have on red pants and red shirt. I don't normally dress this way, but I am trying to be a bit more whimsy, connect with my inner child, and just have fun with life in general. And dressing up with a little bit more color is one way to do that. I definitely need to get some more dresses though, flowy, fun dresses. And one more thing is I am in a different spot now. I moved my whole working area from one room to another room. So now it's a lot more quiet, it's my own space. It also happens to be Garfield's room. Without further ado, let's get into today's conversation. Sometimes the biggest thing standing in our way to our goals, our dreams, the destination isn't distance, it isn't how long it's going to be, it's the obstacles that get in your way. Sometimes those obstacles you put in there, sometimes the obstacles are made by other people, sometimes it's just things that just happen in everyday life. For this podcast, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do a visualization exercise together. I want you to get situated. If you are driving right now, keep your eyes open. Just visualize it with your mind as if somebody is reading a story to you. They're telling you about that story and you are imagining a whole movie playing in your head. That's the visualization that we are going to be working with today. Go ahead, close your eyes if you're able. If not, keep them open and aware. And imagine yourself inside of a forest. And imagine your goal, your dream, the thing that you want to do with your life in a very far, far away distance. Because it's not here, you're not doing it right now, but you see it, you know what you want to do. And look down and look at the path that leads to that destination. Personally, when I visualize this, I oftentimes kind of think of the Wizard of Oz forest and the path that they go through. But your path might look very different. Now I want you to think about all of the times that you've ever spoken about this dream, about this goal. Any time that you have said, but I want to do this, but, or I'm going to do this soon, I'm going to do this eventually. Every time one of those things came up, another thick branch goes in your way, a tree falls in your way, big weeds sprout up. Then also think about any time somebody has doubted you. Their doubts, the projections that they had, are now repeating in your head, and now they're also making that path a little bit more risky. Every one of those obstacles is hiding away your destination, making it seem like it's not existing, like it's not possible. You look over at your friends and their path is more clear. They have the tools they need. You look at your path and you say, this is impossible. I can't do it for this reason. I can't do it for that reason. I might be able to get a little bit through, but I'm not going to be able to get all the way to that destination. I want you to remember the forest, all the obstacles in your way, your destination. Remember this whole scene because we will be returning to it. This is the way that I visualize my dreams, the things that I want to do and the things that I want to pursue. At least now it is. What's been really interesting is the last few weeks or so especially, I've had really great conversations with people that I care about, and I have been finding a reoccurring pattern with these conversations. When we're talking about what they want to do, their dreams, their goals, whether it be in their career at a job, or whether it be starting their own business or growing their own business. All of these people that I'm close to, that confide in me, they have this one thing in common. They're not quite happy with where they're at. That's why they have these bigger dreams, these bigger goals. And they know that they need to do certain things. They know that they need to work harder on maybe getting that promotion. Maybe they need to fill out a resume, things like that. And they need to actually do those things. Or maybe having a business, they know that they need to go and set up and do all of the things and make posts. But when they look at their path, doing those things seem very clear for other people. It's very clear cut. It's just go do that thing, go do this, go do that. But for them, it doesn't seem that way. It's very, very messy. And oftentimes people look at that mess on the pathway and they say, I just can't do it right now. I can't do it right now because of this reason and this reason and this reason and this reason. And I did the same thing. I told myself I would pursue my art, that I would go forward with being a professional artist at some point, eventually, one day. Okay, when is that going to happen, right? Like, I can't just sit here forever and wait another 10 years. That's another 10 years of just creating art, but not pursuing the business part of it. And the reality is, nobody's going to clear that path for me. Nobody's going to get me to step forward and take the next step and take the next step. Nobody's going to take my foot and do that for me. And they're not going to do that for you. I think that a lot of times we think that people are going to do that because kind of through school, that is what happens. Teachers will get you through class after class after class. You kind of just go through the motions, you know exactly what to do. And people who go through the system where they go through school, they graduate, they go through college, they graduate, and they get a job that they went to college for, that's great. But guess what? Their path is probably a bit more clear. They might have had some issues. They might have still had a fallen tree. They might have still had something that made them have to go back a little bit on their path, but they still had a more clear view of that destination than, let's say, somebody who didn't have the college experience. So they have a lot more weeds to actually get through and kind of go and explore. That doesn't mean it's impossible. It means it's more work. It means they might have to be a bit more creative with how to get to that destination because they might not even have a map where the other person does. To be totally honest, if I was given all of this advice, let's say 5 years ago, my business would be booming. It would be so much bigger than it is now. And that's okay that it's not. It's okay that it took me this long. But now I understand what was holding me back. And I hope that after this conversation, you understand a little bit better what's holding you back and how you can solve that too. The thing is everyone has a dream, a goal, something that they want to pursue in life. It can be something small. It can be, I just want to get a car. It can be a little bit bigger. You're trying to save up for a house. It can be something different like a business or a promotion, like I said, or maybe it's starting a family, finding the right person. All of these can be destinations in your forest, but most people end up losing sight of that destination completely. And then they also don't know how to solve it or when or if they're going to solve it. So speaking about the forest, let's get back into that visualization. Think back to where you were in that forest. Remember all of the obstacles that popped up, that destination that you're trying to get to. Even if you can no longer see it in the visualization, let's place ourselves right back there. We're not going to go through the whole journey together, just 2 obstacles for an example of what this looks like. Let's all visualize our forest, and your forest might be a little bit different. You might have different obstacles in this example, but I'm going to say an example as if it's myself. So we're in our forest, take 1 step forward, and there is a big branch in our way. We can't go past it. We can't cut through it because we don't have any tools in our hands right now. We don't have any ability to be able to do that. And this big branch translates into reality as I don't have a website and I don't have time to make one. So normally in this situation, people would say, I will do it later. I'll worry about the branch later. I'll worry about the website later when I have time to do it. Next thing not to do is using brute force. Using your hands trying to get that branch out of the way equates to, hey, I'm just going to tell everybody about my business and just tell them that they need to DM me. Just DM me. Don't do that. I don't feel comfortable doing transactions through DM. Do you as a customer? Probably not a good idea. And the next thing not to do in this situation is complain that it's too hard to get that branch out of the way or that you don't have the tools for it. Just complain and complain about how you don't have a website, how you don't have time for it. Is that really productive? Is that helpful? No. So what do you do instead? Look at this problem in your visualization and understand that there is a way to get that branch out of the way. There is a way to build your website and to make time for it, but you just have to figure that out. Here's what you could do instead for this situation. Instead of saying, I'll do it later, I'll do it eventually, I'll focus on the branch and get that out of the way. One day I will make a website eventually. You can actually put time aside to focus on it. If you think about your day every single day throughout just a single week, is there even 10, 30 minutes that you can spare? And if you say no right away, I want you to really take a second to think about this. Really think, is there times where you are scrolling on social media when you don't need to be? Is there times when you might be doing something that's not that productive or even good for you that you could use that time wisely and put it towards something that is going to be going towards your goals? Yeah, I think that there is. Because I know I thought there was no time for me to get things done, but it really is. What do you have a priority for? And if you're not going to prioritize your goals in the first place, really consider, is it something that you want to do? I'm pretty sure you can at least put aside 30 minutes a week, focus time towards your goal. So put 30 minutes a week, at least. That's minimum. Putting towards getting that branch out of the way. You could figure it out if you put your mind to it, that much focus time. You might be able to get it done in one day, in a few days, in 1 week, or multiple weeks. But just saying, I'll do it soon and eventually, is just you saying that you're never going to get it done. If it's not on the calendar, if you don't have it planned, if you don't have intention to have focus time on it, it's probably not going to happen. And be honest with yourself about that. So next thing you could do instead of using brute force or saying, hey, DM me and I'll just tell people about my business verbally, you can actually start doing research and making those small movements. Making that time is going to be helpful for you to make that momentum happen. So instead of using brute force, you're thinking about it strategically and taking the time to understand the situation, what the problem is, and what a good solution can be. Instead of sitting there and complaining and just sitting at the branch waiting for somebody to do something as you complain about how hard it is, how you don't have time to do it, instead, you can actually take inspired action. You can actually do the things you need to do. Even if that's just 10 minutes of focus time today, 10 minutes tomorrow, and 10 minutes another day in the week, 30 minutes done. Easy peasy. You got at least one step closer to getting that branch out of the way or getting your website or whatever you need done. So once you finally have that website, you finally have the thing that was holding you back, that branch or whatever you want to call it, take a few more steps forward and boom, there is a fallen tree in front of you. And this fallen tree is marketing your products, marketing what you do, telling people what it is. You made the website, you did the thing, and now there's another problem that popped up. Oh no! This happens all the time in business, but not just in business, also in jobs. If you ever worked anywhere or you just live life, problems come up all the time. It's life. And if you focus on the problems, you're just going to keep getting more. So focus on the solution to the problems instead. So normally this fallen tree, what not to do, and people end up doing it anyways. Similar thing, saying this isn't for me. I don't want to do advertising. That's not my thing. But instead, you need to figure out what works for you. Maybe social media isn't your thing, but you have to market yourself. You have to tell people that you exist, and people have to know you exist. Social media is just one of the many ways that you can do that, but there's other ways to actually market your business, market yourself, and market what you do. And that is the big point of this whole visualization, is there's different ways to do things. You can find out what marketing strategies works for your business, yourself, and your services and products. What not to do, something that people do all the time for things like this, is keep it to yourself, not tell anyone. You don't have the tools to be able to do it. You don't have a chainsaw, you don't have anything to get over this tree. It's a very big tree and you really can't climb over it unless you had help, but you don't want to talk to people. Same with marketing. You might need some help. You might need to learn with trainings. You might need a mentor. You might need to talk to your business friend that has actual experience in all of this. So what to do instead? Show people the tree. Say, hey, this tree is in my way. Do you have something that can help me out? Have you solved this problem on your path before? Amazing things happen when you just ask for help sometimes. Not only to ask them for help in marketing and understanding marketing and how to market your products, but remember to ask people to buy your products and your services, because oftentimes people forget that they even exist in the first place. So by now you probably have realized that every obstacle in your forest represents a problem or a limitation, and then every problem, every obstacle, it has a solution that can be solved by tools. So for example, a giant branch over your pathway could mean small limiting beliefs. And tools that can help you out are conversation and asking questions, or research and trying anyways. Another example is thick vines, and that can represent reoccurring habits and limiting fears too. Some tools that you can use to be able to get those out of the way is consistency and accountability and support and systems. Then there can be other things like fallen trees, dense fog, and those can be like real barriers, or uncertainty and imposter syndrome. There's many other things that might hold you back or just be an obstacle in your way, an inconvenience or an annoyance. So if you want to do a bit more of a deeper dive, take out your journal and write down an entry on what you have experienced in your forest. Here's some questions that you can ask yourself. What is your destination? What does your path look like right away? Is there anything specific that you notice about your path? Then start to think of all the obstacles or the limitations. And then they fill up the path. How do you feel about that path being filled with all those obstacles? In the moment, right then and there, how do you feel about that? Then as you start to walk your path and you start to go to one obstacle and then the next, write down what those obstacles are, what you naturally would have done, what your natural instinct is, and what you should do instead. What tools do you need to be able to clear those obstacles? And as you go through your path, keep returning to your journal. So I used to think that if I couldn't see a clear path to my destination and dreams and goals, and other people couldn't see it, then it just didn't exist. But now I think that sometimes we believe that it's out of reach or that it's non-existent, but it's just covered up with so many obstacles and things in our way, or puzzles to be solved, is really the way that I like to think about it. One thing that I am still working through and trying to understand is knowing the difference between what needs to be worked through, what obstacles we need to work through, or something that we just need to move past and let it go. So if you know the difference, if you have a way to figure that out, or if you have an opinion about that, I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments. When we talked about the path, the pathway, the forest, this applies to so many different things. It applies to business, art, careers, relationships, health, spirituality, and confidence, your own self too. Basically, it's wherever anyone has ever said a story about themselves, put themselves down, or not believed in themselves. I believe in you, and you should believe in yourself too. All right, let's get into what's happening at Rice the Art-Holic. So not a ton has changed, but I am still working on my Dreaming of Portugal painting. It is going to be the first painting of the series. If you are able to look at the visual, the video, I am showing it right now so you can see what it looks like. I do have some details I still need to work on. I am still doing some of the details on the buildings and probably the sky a little bit. The street is mostly done. But it is looking so cute, and this is going to be the first one to that series, and then I'm going to be going to Portugal this fall. So this one is called Dreaming of Portugal because it's kind of like my manifestation to get me there. And then after I go visit Portugal, I do plan on making even more paintings based off of that experience while I'm there. So super excited. It's also for my aunt's wedding. Speaking of my aunt's wedding, I'm also working on this project for their wedding, and these are Portuguese tiles, but they are personally made, and each one is a symbol of their love, themselves, each other, and I'm going to make something that's going to be part of the series with those tiles. I also have been keeping up with my blog lately, so if you haven't checked that out, sometimes I actually kind of go on a deeper dive on conversations that I have for my podcast into the blog, so it shows you visuals and things like that. Deeper dive also on different originals, more detail and information about the story behind them. So if you haven't checked that out, that is on my Ko-fi page. Last but absolutely not least, we have the Reawaken Your Creativity experience coming up this August 1st. I'm super excited about it. I'm co-hosting it with Ashley from Sanctuary with Ashley. We're going to be hosting it at the Sanctuary. It is beautiful. It's surrounded by a woodsy area. You get to hear the animals, the insects all around us, and we're going to be surrounded by nature, sitting on the patio, and it's going to be a very interesting experience because she's going to first guide us into a relaxed state, connecting with our inner child, our creativity, our whimsiness. She actually just made a podcast talking about some ways that you can live a more whimsical life. So if that's something that interests you, I definitely recommend to go check out her podcast. It was a really great listen while I got ready for the day, and I'm super excited to do our co-hosting workshop where you're going to paint your own bookmark. Again, I'm going to show you another visual of what these look like if you're able to see the visual, but these are going to be similar to what the bookmarks are going to look like. On August 1st, we're going to be creating them together, and I can show you step by step, and just we have fun with it and just let our creativity explore and flow. And they are nice bookmarks that are pretty sturdy. The biggest takeaway I want you to take from this podcast is that your destination, your goals, is still there. Your path just might look different than the next person's. It might be harder to see, there might be more obstacles in your way, but that does not mean it's impossible. And remember that sometimes we spend a little too much time just looking at the obstacles and thinking about it and saying soon, and not enough time actually working on the resolution and solving them. Even if the win isn't within sight, we know it's there. And sometimes the next step, the goal that you have today, isn't clearing the whole forest. In fact, I wouldn't even recommend that. Don't think of everything all at once. You're only focusing on one thing at a time, the obstacle right in front of you, the next step that you have to make. That's all you have to worry about right now. So let me ask you, what does your path look like right now? What is standing between you and what you are working towards? And what is one action that you can take today that can get you just one step closer to that goal? Thank you so much for listening or watching. If you are willing to share, I would love to hear more about your path and your experience in this visualization. Did you learn anything? Did it make you start thinking about your obstacles and your path? As always, stay curious, keep creating, and I will see you next time.